Is the recent Chinese stock market boom sustainable? And what am I doing with my portfolio? Chinese stock market has recently surged, sparking global attention. But what's driving this boom? Today we'll break down the key reasons behind the rally and what could it mean for the future. Chinese stocks have been on a tear for the past week. Alibaba, a leading e-commerce and tech giant, surged nearly 20%, while Tencent, a dominant force in China's tech sector, climbed 13%. Because of that, both of these stocks are currently sitting at their 52-week highs. And these are just two examples. The entire Chinese market has seen impressive growth. As a person who holds Chinese stocks in my portfolio, this surge naturally caught my attention. But what actually caused the sudden spike? The simple explanation would be that earlier this week, Chinese leaders at the Politburo announced significant fiscal measures to jumpstart the economy. They've promised more government spending to reach their 5% growth target, stabilize the real estate market, and increase lending. For investors, this was basically the signal that China is ready to pull out their big guns to reverse their economic slowdown. You could think of it as Beijing's whatever it takes moment. To put it in simple terms, Chinese government cut rates to make borrowing cheaper and incentivize spending. Also, they said that if they will see the need for it, they will take additional measurements to boost their economy. Naturally, investors all around the world took it as a positive note, which caused the market rally. Now, as someone who is invested into both Tencent and Alibaba, I'm happy to see the rally, but only because I wasn't planning to add more to my positions. But here is the kicker. This boom isn't caused by the companies themselves performing exponentially well right now. Instead, it's being driven by the government policies. As a value investor, that is important to keep in mind. The fundamentals of these businesses haven't drastically changed overnight. I mean, Jack Ma hasn't come back suddenly and fixed everything with one hand tied behind his back. Now here's where we need to exercise caution. Just because the market is booming doesn't mean that you should throw all your money into Chinese stocks. We've seen rallies like this before, driven by government stimulus, but they don't always translate into long-term growth. The real question is whether consumer and business confidence will come back, especially after what's been a rough few years for China's economy. For instance, while real estate is getting support, there's still skepticism about whether that's enough to reverse the downturn. And even with this rally, some analysts say that consumers are still hesitant to borrow and spend. So as value investors, we have to ask ourselves, are we investing into actual growth, or are we just riding this temporary wave of optimism? Now, as a value investor, the key for me is to focus on the fundamentals of a business. Don't get me wrong, in my opinion, companies like Alibaba and Tencent are still undervalued, as they still have solid business models, strong free cash flow, and dominant positions in their markets. But what I want to look for is whether they will be able to continue growing, especially if the Chinese government's focus shifts again in the future. Sure, the short-term rally is great, but we need to assess the long-term potential. Are these companies positioned to continue thriving despite potential regulatory hurdles? In summary, while I'm pleased with this rally, I am approaching it with caution, as I have seen similar surges before. At this point, I'm not doing any changes to my positions, neither closing them nor adding new ones. It is possible that we've seen the bottom of Chinese stock market, but only time will reveal the true direction it will take. My advice to you would be, look at the fundamentals of a companies. Keep an eye on the broader economic picture. And remember, while this rally is exciting, it's been driven by factors that could change at any moment. So that was my take on this recent Chinese stock market rally. What do you think? Have we seen the bottom, and will the rally continue? I am curious to hear your thoughts. And again, to everyone who tuned into this video, I'm extremely grateful. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe, please like the video, and please leave a comment if you have any suggestions. Thank you, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.